All right, y'all. Last week, the episode ended with Daikon and Andrew dragging in Lynn's drugged out body into the torture trailer to join her husband, Brian, leaving Brian pleading for mercy. The compound now has 2 escapees in one punishment trailer. Lilo is dead. Deputy Polk is laid to rest. Dell's parents, the locals, have also met their demise. And the sheriff wants $2 million just to keep his mouth shut. Boy, things really are taking an interesting turn. My goodness. Now, we're going to find out what happened to Malcolm just a little bit later. And if you missed my highlight on Malcolm, I'll leave it linked above and below. This is my review of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 3, Episode 8, titled A Master Plan. The episode opens with Brian pleading for mercy with the highest, and we have to notice how Brian's nubbed fingers are prominently displayed on his chest in this scene, right? This is absolutely horrible, and I don't see how he's even holding a normal conversation. It looks very painful, right? In the last episode, Brian told the highest that he's ready to talk, ready to give up the name of the other agent, right? And unfortunately, Andrew is feeling pressure on both ends at this point. So the highest gave Brian the floor to talk, and his biggest question was he wanted to know if Lynn was also FBI, because they know that there's more than one agent on the compound. So Brian went into the whole spiel about Lynn being a former cop, and she wanted to come along with him on the case but couldn't. She connected with the kids and yada yada yada. Then the highest said, okay, well, yeah, just kill her. And at this point, Brian was like, huh, really? He told him that love can get you killed because you're being stupid for someone else just because you love them. So the highest now has to turn the knife that's already in Brian's back. He told him that Lynn came to the compound with a man, that his scent was all over her. Daikon told him that his name was Malcolm. So now Brian has to pretend that he knew nothing about this affair, right? Because then they know that Malcolm was FBI too. And let me just give Brian his flowers right now because he's a real one, right? Brian down like 4 flat ones, ain't he? He don't want to give up Malcolm, and he said absolutely nothing about Andrew, even though he's 2 fingers short. And Andrew's standing right behind the highest on mute. He won't say a word, but Brian's a real FBI soldier. I can say that. The highest told him that he's going to give him a little bit more time to figure out how he's going to help Lynn to leave Earth. So they all go outside, and Daikon is telling Andrew not to be stupid for a woman like he did when he killed his wife, with little to no evidence, by the way. He still thinks that Andrew's an FBI agent, right? And he's saying this because every time Brian pleaded for help, he was looking directly at Andrew, as he should, right? And Andrew was like, you know, we already been through all of this, brother. Daikon reminded him that the highest isn't even on level 1 with torturing Brian. And he told Daikon, don't worry about it, I got your back. And Brian won't snitch on me because there's nothing to snitch about. So after the highest left the torture trailer, he sat under the gazebo having his morning coffee. He's all calm and cool. Here comes Manny, turned up because the sheriff at the gate. But the highest didn't flinch. He said, oh, don't worry about him. You need to be cleansed. Daikon already put in a good word for Manny, so we all know what time it is. It's time for him to be enlightened. And he said he'd do anything for the raccoon. So do y'all think that Manny really knows what enlightened involves? Because clearly Oliver didn't know. He had no clue, and we'll get to that in a minute too. He let Manny know that he's taking Ruth as a wife, and he's going to need a good and faithful soldier by her side, and he wants that soldier to be him. So Manny skedaddled off to the front gate to greet the sheriff when the highest saw Joan frolicking through the compound, carrying her cooked accounting books. And she keeps those books pretty close, right? She don't want nobody to see how cooked those books are. And of course, the highest wants to know what's up with the funds and how the money's moving, right? So Joan finally got the money moved to their account, guys, and they're requesting to see the highest. They want him to come into the branch personally because he's an officer in the organization, right? So he told him that it would be wise to go to 2 branches a day to make the withdrawals so that they won't raise any suspicion. She also told the highest that he may want to suit and tie that thing and also bring Ruth with him, to make things look all the way legit. Now look, imagine this, all right? The highest, Ruth, suited up, going to the bank. They'll look good, right? They'll look the part. And I even posed the question. I asked this in the community tab. I said, is the compound going to let her go to the bank with that robe on? And Leslie Pickett said no, because the robe will draw too much unwanted attention towards Joan, and someone might guess she's a part of the Raccoon compound. And She B said, why not? Other cultures do it. And yeah, she's absolutely correct. Other cultures, most common, maybe Muslims or some Africans, they'll walk all up and through, with their garbs on. For some reason, the raccoon robes they're a little extra thick, dark purple. So it will definitely garner attention from the Western society. So after she finished talking to the highest, she ran into Ruth in the yard, and she told Ruth that the money had to be moved, and they're going to move it 100 stacks at a time. So she's cool on that. But Ruth is more worried about that negative pregnancy test that the elder mother's trying to force her into. But Joan reassured her that the elder mother has to come through her before any money is spent on pregnancy tests. And Ruth wanted to know where River was, and she told him that she didn't know, and then they parted ways. And shortly after this, lo and behold, here comes River running up to Ruth to tell her that the sheriff is at the gate, and he's panicking, and we'll find out why a little bit later too. He wanted Ruth to prepare a glass of water for the sheriff and then eavesdrop to find out what they were talking about. But Ruth told him no, she's not going to do it. So after the highest had his morning coffee, he went to the gate to see what was up with Sheriff Conley. And Sheriff came by for a few things. One of them, he told the highest, he said, look, he good on all the gussy. Sheriff said don't see him no more girls. He don't want no more. He said he wants cold, hard cash. He told the highest that the banks are calling him, telling him that the highest is moving the cartel's money around. And he said that he want a cool meal for his trouble. Why are the banks calling the sheriff about the compound's money? I don't know. It's beyond me. But clearly he may have a banker that's in on all the dealings too. They also discussed Polk and Melinda, and the highest politely told him that Polk won't be returning to work for a really, really long time, right? So now that Melinda has gotten rid of Polk, Lacey shot the locals, Oliver killed a member of the cartel, and he's got 3 FBI agents right there on the compound. So his little town is hot right now, and because they're now going to be looking for Polk, he told him that he wants $2 million now. He told him that he has to make the locals' death look like a murder-suicide. Then we see Ruth creeping out the gate with his glass of water. The glass of water that River told her to take to the sheriff so she could eavesdrop. The sheriff declined the water and then he left. But y'all know what this reminds me of? Like when your parents had company over to the house and you came out of your room and did something stupid. And your mama gave you that look like, okay, just wait till they leave. I'm going to tear your ass up. He got Ruth back in the house and tore her up. He told her, since you're going to be nosy and want to hear everything, I'm going to cut your ears off. So Ruth knows that she has to push him in that same direction to the end. So instead of reacting, he actually thinks about what he's going to do, right? And I know without a shadow of a doubt that this has everything to do with his mental illness. And we'll discuss this in a separate video because I'm sure that's going to be a long one. And I bet Ruth regrets ever listening to River, but in the end, she's glad that she did because her beating ended with the highest telling her everything. He told her everything. So then Ruth knew that she had to offer a way for him to fix the problem, right? So she told the highest that he could take over the land that the locals had and that they could convince the cartel that Lilo ran off with their money and just being the solution, right, to all the problems. So now his ears are perking up. He thinks that Ruth's ideas are the greatest thing since sliced bread. She told him that she has all these brilliant ideas because she's around him and she picks up on his prophetic energy. And so she's able to come up with all these solutions because of him, basically. Then the highest told her to put her head up against his so they could meditate. I guess he wants the electricity of their brainwaves to collide and make some raccoon magic. So now we see Elder Mother Supreme walking around the compound, happy to see that the highest is beating up on Ruth. She said that Ruth probably deserved it. She also said that she missed Elder Mother Agnes, and rest in peace to Rhonda White, who played the role of Mother Agnes. She said that Elder Mother would have enjoyed seeing Ruth get beaten. She was there to tell Joan to pick up some pregnancy tests when they went into town to the market. And lately now, Joan has really been coming through for Ruth, right? They may spat from time to time, but she's really been looking out for her. She told Elder Mother Supreme that the budget's kind of tight and they couldn't get the pregnancy test. She said we can either get the pregnancy test or the highest medicine, so which one you want? And of course Elder Mother has to have those medicines, right, so that she can spike the food, them bacon and eggs every morning. And I won't say Waffle House because because Jeremy from Our Kind of Entertainment has been clowning me about these Waffle House plates. Shout out to Jeremy. I really enjoy his content. Then she told Joan to get at least one test, and we all know that that test is going to be for Ruth, right? She told Joan that that test better be in the bag on Friday or they're going to have some problems. So River's mission won't be complete until he finds out what's going on with Zane. And because Zane is now part of their Fearless Four, their little compound group with Joan and Ruth, he had to make sure that she's good and thinking clear because she can't be foaming the bag. And they pretty much had the same conversation that they had the last time, but this time she finally told River what was wrong. She told River that Manny killed Melinda inside the box and that he was also raping her. She said she never said anything because no one is going to believe her. River told her that he's going to help her and then he left. What y'all think River's going to do? I think he's really going to help, especially now that Manny's been assigned to Ruth's detail. He's her detail soldier. River's going to make sure that it doesn't happen, probably. So now that Zane is feeling a tad bit relieved, here come Elder Mother with the bullshit. Because she can't get Joan to get the pregnancy test, she wants Zane to steal him from the market. And the sad part about it is Zane is going to do it. I can't with Elder Mother. I'm done. So then we cut to the punishment trailer with Oliver and Lacey, and after they finish fantasizing about the strawberry ice cream from the last episode, guess that reminded Lacey of something. She asked Oliver if he was gonna let the highest enlighten him, and out to lunch Oliver said, yeah, when I was all in and I was down with the raccoon. Lacey was like, so you were gonna let him F you? Then Oliver was like, hold on, wait, no. Clearly he had no idea what being cleansed meant. Not by the raccoon, not the raccoon way. Do y'all remember the time that he walked in on River and the highest when they were watching those old movies and playing strip poker? And the highest invited him. He was like, you can join us. He was like, nah, bruh, I'm good. Do y'all remember that? It's been a while, so you probably won't remember. But Zane bought them some food. She bought them a sandwich on a plate. Guess they were supposed to split it. I don't know. She pushed the plate so far inside that they couldn't reach it. So Oliver told her to go and grab the key. But Lacey told him that she can't stay long. Ended up in the cooler. Then she left. The last time we saw him, leaving, she ran into Manny, and he pushed her inside one of the trailers. Guess they just threw him in there to wake him up a little bit. I don't know. Daikon took him out of the cooler, and then Malcolm started running his mouth. He told him that the feds were coming with tanks, and they're going to take the compound down. He told him that he and Brian were both agents, and also Andrew. End scene. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, your Facebook groups, IG, Twitter, LinkedIn, MySpace. You know I'd appreciate it. And if you're a Tyler Perry Ruthless fan, go on and sub to the channel because I do lots of videos like this all the time. If you made it this far, I'd like to thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank ya!